My name is Temitope Ajayi. I'm a Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity.
My name is Ogra, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Digital Communications and New Media. I remember sometime at the beginning of the year when President Bola Tinubu, gave that instruction that, if you don't have any essential foreign trip, it's cancelled. And the most important thing for me, and which made me respect him so more, was the fact that he started with his own office first.
Yeah, that leadership example.
It first cut the number of people that officially follow him for trips, to the specified number that he said. Every other person, you stay at home. And if you want to do anything on your own, it's not authorized by government, it's not paid for by government, you're on your own. And I also realized that, I was speaking to about 2 ministers and the chief of staff 2 weeks ago, and they said more than 80% of requests for official trips now, are cancelled.
Across MDAs?
Across MDAs, across the presidency, across the civil service. For me, that's very instructive. But in some way, somehow, these do not get said as much in the public. I don't think you have an official car. I don't have an official car. Many other people, including some ministers, don't have these things. And it's a touchy subject. You come out to say it, a lot of people will say, oh, these people are being pretentious. I see them say when they talk about, salaries of people in the executive. I'm not talking of the legislative now, because they can set their own, a lot of allowances and things for themselves. But for the executive, it is set by the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission.
I think a lot of people have, of course, because before some of us got to have the opportunity to be on this side of government, to work for government, which is a beautiful thing, to work for your country. And some of us came from our private sector businesses and work. Now, I think that there's this notion that people have that people in government are making so much money, earning so much money, until I saw my first pay, my first paycheck. I was like, how do people in government survive? Because really, all of us that have
jobs or
good business that we're doing or private sector job, someone like you.
I'm so shocked.
That came from one of the biggest.
I have to cut my coats according to my size.
So I'm sure you are earning far less than you were earning for at Boa.
Nigerians will say God is in control.
I was telling someone on a WhatsApp group where people were making a lot of claim about how government officials, ministers, how they are enjoying at the expense of Nigeria. And I asked, and I posted on the forum that, how many of you really know how much a minister earns?
And this is publicly available information.
And this is, of course, this is a public information.
If you go to rfafc.gov.ng, you will see the latest.
Even the president, how much does he earn in a month?
But let's be frank, a lot of people think that aside what you have on the RFAFC website, which has not been changed since 2007, a lot of people believe that there are some other allowances that are not reflected there.
But there's none. Because all your salary and allowances are computed. They are in what you earn. It's even your letter of apartment. So at the end of the day, by the time you bring everything together, for a minister, it's less than $1 million.
Interesting.
And these are verifiable facts.
And this is for the executive. I repeat, because recently judicial officers, their salaries were increased by significantly, because it was very important to also safeguard the integrity of the judiciary. For the legislature, I know conversations are ongoing with them. Recently, they.
But even at that, there's also a misconception about what National Assembly members earn.
Okay.
I think Ramfa came out to give the breakdown. In recent, what a senator earns is about 1.1 million naira per month, including allowances. I think the debate has always been around their running cost.
Oh, I see.
So, they have a cost to running their office and their constituency offices. Okay, let's say, imagine a senator representing a senatorial district that is made up of like 6 or 7 local governments. that senator is expected, or House of Rep member, as the case may be, maybe a typical House of Rep district, we have like 2 or 3 local governments making up a constituency for a House of Rep member. Typically, a senator will have like 6 or 7, depending, or 8 local government, depending on the size of the state. States like Lagos or no, states like Kano with like 40 local government, or your state with like 30 local government. So if you're a senator from your state, you are likely going to have like 10 local governments making up your senatorial district. If you are from Kano State, you are likely going to have more than 15 or thereabout. Or
based on the number of the state.
Now, so you are expected as a senator to have a constituency office, maybe in each of the local governments. So that constituency office is meant to be run by, to be adequately staffed. Maybe you have an admin officer, you have 1 or 2 people there. You have to pay for the office, pay for your electricity bill. Maybe you have telephone. So really, if you really look at it, and this is me being honest, or maybe based on my sufficient understanding of how government works around the world, I always say, even before I came to government, that I think oftentimes we are too unfair or too hard on these legislators. No, I was reading a book, one of the literatures around White House, gatekeepers, how chief of staff defines every presidency. So there was a kind of a review of about 15 presidencies in America. Ron Emanuel, the first chief of staff of President Obama, who was former mayor of Chicago. No, the first budget of President Obama was flipped, was tossed away by the US Congress. And what was the issue? The US legislators were debating what we call constituency allowance here. That is always a sticky point. They call it earmarks in US. That is their own, we call it constituency allowance here. They call it earmarks. So there's a kind of money that is budgeted for every like legislators to take care of needs of their constituency, because it is believed they are the representative of the people. They know what their constituencies, the demands, maybe school, maybe road. So they are able to put all of those in budget. So it was then announced so this is not even a peculiar thing to Nigeria.
So it's expected to be for specific purposes. So do you think this is how will I put it? Do you think this is a knowledge problem or an awareness problem? Because it builds on, you see, and people have made this complaint about even us as a government. It builds on all these agencies or arms of governments, to break down these things properly. Because in the papers, after Ramfak, mentioned that this is what's there, and you've had 1 or 2 members of the National Assembly come out and say, oh no, they take this jumbo pay home. So is it that they are not adequately informed as to what this additional pay aside their official pay is? Because I know we, the executives, don't get that.
Yeah.
We don't get any other allowances apart from the pay that comes in. But for the legislature, do you think it's an issue of, they are not, even the people collecting these monies,
they don't even know why they are not.
Exactly.
Well, I would say maybe there should be a better understanding by the members, because for me, I would expect a senator or a House of Rep member to know the difference between your legitimate earning and your running cost. So a senator coming to the media to say he earns 21 million naira per month, I think you are just giving unnecessary ammunition to people to malign the institution that you represent. I think there should be a sufficient understanding. Maybe the National Assembly leadership should do better orientation for the members. Because really, and another thing is, running costs is like you as head of department at BUA, where you were head of corporate communication before your current assignment. you have an impress account, a running cost for your office, that you retire every month or every quarter, depending on the financial regulation within the company. So usually, typically, there is an impress account, like a running cost to run a department, that the head of the department manages. Every month, you retire it to the finance department. So really, running cost is meant to be retired, because it has to be receipted for. What did you use the money for? Because the money is supposed to be used for the purpose for which it is designed.
Unlike your salary.
Unlike your salary and one thing that is. So really, I think the public need to be properly educated. And again, it's also come to the media too.